Hi YouTube, this is Dr. Margolin. Thank you again for everybody who supports our channel. Thank you for everybody who subscribed. We got a lot of questions about food and arthritis, food and pain. One of the questions I found interesting, the person says, I have arthritis, I'm in pain. I know I'm overweight. I tried everything I can. I tried different diets and I'm still confused. I'm talking even about bariatric surgery, but I see I'm kind of some kind of vicious cycle. What should I do? What food can I avoid? And unfortunately, it's not uncommon. Before we answer this question, let me give you some general summary on our experience as pain management for close to 20 years. On what can be done. Generally, it is a vicious cycle. If the person consumes unhealthy food, he is usually overweight. Please refer to my previous video. His metabolism is in what we call storage mode. He can't exercise. He gains more weight. His pain getting worse. And this is this vicious cycle that you need to break at some point. And in our experience, making lifestyle modifications, not necessarily going on diet, but rather doing something we call positive eating, you can actually achieve success and break this vicious cycle. What is the difference between diet and positive eating? Diet is usually a rigid set of rules with a lot of hooks attached to that. You need to basically monitor your weight. You need to, some diets, you need to monitor yourself for ketone bodies. You need to consume certain number of calories. And it makes sense and it can work in the short term. The problem is that in the long term, it usually does not work. It's too difficult. People give it up. They actually binge again and it becomes same or worse as before. What is positive eating? Positive eating, you actually understand why something is good or bad for you, and you gradually increase the consumption of healthy food and decrease unhealthy food in a slow, gradual process, which is quite different than diet. I also think if you take this approach, you actually take an active role in your care, and that actually means a better prognosis. So let's talk about different types of food, and let's see how we achieve progress in that direction. I also want to emphasize that again, each case is different, and you always need to talk to a dietitian, to your healthcare provider. With that, I'll finish part 1 of this video, and in part 2, we'll go through different types of food with some concise ideas on what can be done. Thank you. Hi YouTube, this is Dr. Margolin. In part 2 of this video, we're going to go through different types of food. So without further ado, sugar, we talked in the previous video, we explained why sugar is associated with increased weight, mostly fat content, why it's inflammatory substance, so it definitely needs to go. We also need to remember that carbs, even unsweetened bread, a lot of pasta can be metabolized as sugar and can be restricted, and some of them need to be eliminated. Sourdough bread, Ezekiel bread are somewhat better. Milk and dairy products. It's inflammatory food by nature. Milk contains something called caseoprotein that can be addictive, can actually work in the same areas of the brain as opioids, there is debate in the literature. We generally saw good results with going dairy free. I also want to mention that it's not only dairy, the antibiotics, hormones, and other substances that are fed to the animals concentrated in the milk, and even more in cheese. And I would say that cheese is even worse than milk. But generally, going dairy-free with arthritis and overweight in the Western countries is not a bad idea. Meat. Well, I'm neutral on meat. I'm not a vegetarian, but I understand what some vegetarian people saying. I'm completely neutral on the political issue. I just want to approach meat from the practical point of view for somebody who has arthritis and pain. I would basically balance meat and vegetables. I think it's close to what American Medical Association recommends. I would eat approximately 1 portion of meat by weight, by volume, and 6 to 7 portions of vegetables. Now, from experience, it's hard to do. It's hard to do because you can't just cook a very small piece of meat. Just not practical. So that's why practically most people eat meat once or twice a day, and the rest they eat vegetables and fruits, mostly vegetables. And by the way, everybody needs carbs. I mentioned carbs before, but you would prefer to eat slow carbs like sweet potatoes, millet, beans, legumes, and others. Now the bigger one, processed food. Processed food is a big problem. It's very inflammatory. Well, we can talk for a long time about each component in the processed food. To keep things simple, if I sell you blueberries, the only component is blueberries, right? If I sell you avocado, the only component is avocado. But if somebody sells you something in a package and it has 20 to 30 different ingredients, and half of them you don't understand, and they sound chemical, you better look for an alternative. At least some of those ingredients may be not so good for you. Artificial colors is definitely a problem. Again, we try to keep these videos short, so we're not going to go into different types of artificial colors, but some of them can cause serious problems. And as a rule of thumb, if you can avoid artificial colors or avoid them as much as you can, I think that would be beneficial. And the last point, small changes, and that's how it's different from a diet. You start with something small, for example, giving up sodas, giving up cakes, replacing sugar or food overloaded with sugar, as we discussed. Then you substitute your carbs for different type of breads, for slow carbs. And then gradually, as time goes by, you build this momentum and you make other changes. I also encourage you to do research and get additional information. When you understand something better and it makes sense to you, there are more chances you will be successful. And from experience, anybody who tries, you will see good results if you stick to this for 6 months or more. It doesn't mean your arthritis goes away and you'll be arthritis free, but you lose weight, the progression of the arthritis and the pain gets, the progression of the arthritis decreases, you get less pain, more functional, then you can exercise more and you're basically out of the vicious cycle that we mentioned. Thank you again. Subscribe to our channel so we can keep you safe and healthy. Have a good day.
Hi, my name's Rick. I've been coming to Mr. Brangolan for the past 3 months now. He has totally turned my life around. His pain management, of course, is excellent. He'll make sure you get up off the couch. You actually have a life now. I've already lost 35 pounds since I've been seeing him, and the man knows his stuff.